let's look at some examples of information that you can get from non-expert key informant interviews and observation that can be useful for your risk reduction of GBV. This is a methodology that is quite commonly used, for example, by DTM in their multi-sectoral location assessment. The first thing to remember is that this is a methodology that cannot be used and should never be used to try to understand the types of GBV happening in a site or in a location, the consequences of GBV, and the prevalence data of GBV in a location. There are other methods that are much better suited for that. What can we then do? Well, with non-expert key informant interviews and observation, we can get information on, or at least estimates of the number of people living in a location, an estimate of the sex and age disaggregation of this population that is very useful for your analysis. In addition to that, you can get information on the access and availability to basic needs and services. And these are factors that increase or decrease the risk of GBV. You can also get information about access and availability of protection or GBV-specific services that would deal with consequences of incidents. And the last type of information that you can use, and it's very useful for risk reduction, is the information around infrastructure in a location or a site that is known to decrease or increase the risk of GBV. For example, the presence or absence of a security provider, the presence or absence of locks or possibility to lock toilets, bathing facilities, and dwellings in a location. Whether or not there is light at the bathing facilities and toilets areas or on the way to these areas. Whether or not the male and female toilets and bathing facilities are in different locations. Each one of these information in itself and alone does not provide you an indication of risk. However, they can then be jointly analyzed, and you can get a list of locations where the risk is higher and where to prioritize certain sectoral intervention. From an operational point of view, it's very useful. And at location level, you get a clear list of all the types of intervention that the different sectors, WASH, shelter, CCCM, and others can do to reduce the risk of GBV in that location.